for us. They get to go with him wherever he goes. So we don't have to be stuck in a quagmire of living on earth for another 1,000 years. To me, it's just quagmire. I can't even imagine the thought. I don't want to. I can't imagine just, having to live on earth 1,000 years and not be with him, not be doing something else. I just want to be with him. I just want to fight, I just want to be in my pod destroying. But there won't be anything to destroy at that time, but we'll still be with him. Now, during that 1,000 years, nobody dies. Nobody dies. There's no death. There's no sickness. The only punishment being is that they will be required to celebrate the feast of Passover. The kings of the nations that were allowed during the millennial reign, will be required to go up to Jerusalem once a year to celebrate. And if they don't, that nation will be punished for the year with no rain. And so all of these kings of these nations, they're allowed to come in during the 1,000-year millennial reign, will be under the authority of the Lord. I mean, they're not going to be able to just do whatever they want and do their own things. They will have to honor the feast of Passover and all of the feasts. Just talk about the one in particular because it's one the Bible talks about, because they will be required to come up to Jerusalem once a year, and if they don't, he will withhold rain from that nation. And also, I'm at that time, the nations will be given a particular place where they're allowed to live. I mean, it's at this time that the Lord gathers all of his believers, his Israel, to Israel. He isn't gathering them now. He wasn't gathering them there in 1948 when the UN established Israel. But he will gather all of his people from the four corners of the earth, his true Israel, those who worship and follow him, and establish them in Israel during the 1,000-year millennial reign. And so Israel will be there, and these other nations will be in their own places, and it will all be ruled over by King David, and the Lord will be in his temple during that time, and all of his people will have their assignments and jobs at that time. One believer will be the governor of a city, or a mayor of a town, or there's going to be structure. There's going to be structure. And so for 1,000 years, you just have millions and millions and millions of people because everyone's having babies and no one's dying. So you just have this huge multiplication on earth. And I have a feeling this is a lot of the technology that we had before, ancient technology, and the technology we have today will come back during that time. And we'll be able to travel to different planets. I mean, some people think that we'll be able to populate other planets, and I wouldn't doubt it because Earth is just going to be so populated at that time. If you can imagine 1,000 years with no death, that's millions, billions. And so at the end of this time, at the end of this 1,000-year reign, Satan will be loosed from the abyss. Once again, he will be loosed, and he will be allowed for his third and final attempt to come up against the authority of the Lord, his rulership here on earth. And so what he's going to do is go around these nations, as he does today, whispering in people's ears to rebel against the Lord and rise up against him. And of course, they do that today in different ways. They just rebel against the Lord. They don't follow him. They don't worship him. They don't seek him and things like that. They care about the cares of the world more than him. But he's not going to have, he's going to be allowed a space of time to gather up an army against him. And this is the army that's mentioned in Revelation, I believe it's chapter 20, 21, that comes up against the Lord. The same army, I believe, that Ezekiel 37 is talked about in Ezekiel 37 and 38. I know a lot of preachers today put that war, Ezekiel war, before either in the middle or the beginning of the tribulation period. I believe it's at the end of the millennial reign of Christ. I don't even believe it's during the tribulation period when Russia and Gog and Magog and all of them advance on Israel. I believe that that's after the 1,000-year millennial reign, because they're so similar. If you read the war description in Revelation 20:21, when Satan is loosed and allowed to build up a rebellion against the Lord, and then you read Ezekiel 37:38, they're similar. It's almost the same thing. And so at this time, he will raise up an army of rebellious people here on earth, and get the kings of the nations together and to war against the Lord, to come up against Israel once again. Here we go again, with the nations of the world. That he did the Battle of Armageddon. He got the nations of the world's armies to come to Israel to fight against the second coming of Christ. And this is what he's going to do at the end of the 1,000 years reign. He's going to get the kings of these nations, these goat nations that were allowed in the millennial reign. He's going to get them to send up armies against Israel once again. But the Lord describes it as they're destroyed on the mountains of Israel. And so no one even has to do anything to them. No armies or no weapons have to be formed or fought against them, but the Lord destroys them and annihilates them on the mountains of Israel. And so there goes Satan's third and final attempt to overcome the Lord. And so this is just some of the things we're heading into, folks. I thought I'd just give a little analysis. This is just something he wanted me to see, and I'm going to stay in this. I'll probably talk about it some more next week because I don't feel like he's releasing me to go into anything else. He wants me to be in this particular area right now. Just as he had revealed the 4 horsemen to me and exactly who and what they are. And now I'm just heading into another area. But that was, I think that's comforting to a lot of people to know who do worry. And, I'm not saying take the easy ride out and don't do anything because we're going to be removed from the earth, the Lord's elect, His first fruits, before the destruction of America, because there could be famine here first. There could be famine. There could be an economic collapse. You could lose your job. You could lose your electricity. There's nothing here that says we're going to be comfortable and living and getting comfy until we're taken off the earth. And so prepare, because also a lot of the preparations that He's been leading us to do over the years and leading people to do would also be left for those who are left here when you're gone. He will lead people to that need it to survive during the time when you're gone, and hell is breaking loose on earth. And so it will not go for naught. It's all in a part of obedience, of obeying. Don't rationalize what He tells you. If He tells you to stock up and prepare, then do it. Don't rationalize it. Well, I don't need to, because if we're not going to be here, then I don't need to. Don't rationalize. Just do what He asks. Do what He asks. It's all part of obeying. He just says obey. He doesn't say question and analyze me to death on everything I ask you to do. And that's why you have your generals and your foot soldiers, folks. The foot soldiers, they're not leaders. And so they need to lead it over. And so that's the difference, folks. You're gonna mark your own fate, even if you're in this group or not. It's all in your own control. It's in your hands. The Lord's always led a certain people to my websites, to my radio show. It's a certain people. I'm not here for everybody. I'm not here to build an army. I'm here to wake one up. I'm here to be here for those who need to hear what I'm saying. For the ones that the Lord's reaching out to. The Lord wants to wake up. He wants to teach. I'm here for them. I'm not here for the majority of the world. I'm not here to gain acceptance by the majority of churchdom. I'm not here for them either. I'm not here for their